You're stuck chasing these small, low-profit repair jobs while other roofers are landing 30, 40,000 full roof replacements. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how these other companies and how your company can position itself to land high profit, big roof replacement jobs with actual qualified, wealthy homeowners. Now, you might believe that these small repair jobs are the very thing keeping your company alive and allowing your company to breathe. And that is true, but that's because you don't know how to land high profit jobs on a consistent basis so you can actually scale. If you don't already know who I am, I'm Cole. I'm one of the co-founders of NCT Media, and we've helped over 200 roofing companies across the United States scale their business by providing them with highly qualified roofing appointments straight on their sales team's calendars. And we do this through various of our marketing strategies that we also give away for free on our YouTube channel. Now I'm gonna break this down into 3 parts. First, how to position your offer to attract high quality customers that have big roofs and big roof jobs. Second, how to make your ad creatives and copy tell Facebook the right people to target. And third, how to actually set up your ad targeting settings in order to target the right people and put your ad and your offer in front of the right eyes. Now, when targeting these higher quality homes, a common misconception is you don't need to offer a discount or a starting at price in your ad, and you need to just be like,
oh, we have the best premium materials.
That's not necessarily true. I do like kind of leading with more so like the quality rather than the discount and the offer, but you still do need to have a good offer because that homeowner still wants to get a good deal. They're still not trying to spend a crazy amount of money on a roof, but they're less price concerned than, broker, less wealthy neighborhoods would be, right? So you still need to have a discount, but something that you could do here to ensure you're kind of kicking out the broke leads and the unqualified leads and you're gearing more towards higher ticket roofs is that you put a higher starting at price or a, less enticing discount, let's say. But with that, you also need to kind of hit them with the quality and maybe your reviews, your testimonials, in similar looking, homes and people to them that you've helped out as well. So instead of, let's say, something that we like to do on a lot of campaigns with a starting at price of, $5,997, right? We would put maybe a, starting at of, let's say $9,997, or even a little bit more in certain cases. It really just depends if you could get that to work. That's something you could do, or you could go, like a save thousands offer, something like that. That would be enticing. You could get either of these to work, or something that would really work well as well is not necessarily an offer, but just a straight on testimonial ad, okay? Testimonial, so that's kind of more proof over promise, right? Testimonial ad. And that's what I like to do when gearing towards like higher profit jobs. We're not just talking roof replacements, we're talking big roof replacements, right? We want to be proof over promise, right? Because when you're proof over promise, you're going to attract people that are not really concerned with the deal or the price as much as they are, getting actually, a good quality job done. But some people, kind of, I would say that the less fortunate and the less wealthy neighborhoods, they are going to kind of want that promise more because they're looking more for a good deal that just gets the job done rather than, a very high quality premium job. Now, it is a good strategy to just run the $5,997 offer and gear towards more mid-sized homes, not super broke because they can't even afford that, but also not super extreme wealthy, $40,000 roofs, right? Like we're kind of gearing towards the middle, and that's usually the best strategy that we, go towards because you're still making good profit and you're getting a good amount of jobs in. And you're not going to be paying, as much per leader appointment, which most of the companies that come and work with us, that's typically what they want, right? But if you're willing to pay, an extreme amount per appointment, like we're talking like probably $600 per appointment, right? Then I would do something like this, a proof over promise type of offer gearing towards that super high ticket home. So if you're just looking for more roof replacements, I would recommend doing this offer up here, the $5,997, or you could even do like $7,997, like around that range. Or, you want to gear towards these really, really high profit jobs, you want to run a really lean team and make a bunch of money, then, you need to be willing to pay more per appointment and run an offer like this to get, higher profit roof replacements, not just more roof replacements. So now something important to understand that I briefly went over is with this offer, you do need to have those benefits of quality and of, proof, right? So you want to have the offer, but you also want to have the proof. So they're going to get a good deal, and they also know that you're going to do a good job. And that's extremely important to understand when we're crafting our offer before, creating the ads or setting up the ad campaign. So that brings me to my next thing, because none of this matters if you're not getting your ads in front of the right eyeballs, which these next two things are actually going to address. So this next part's about your ad creative and your ad copy. Now, your ad creative and your ad copy is like a training manual for Facebook's algorithm. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to have in your ads and your copy in order to command Facebook to put that ad in front of these high, wealthy homeowners, okay? So the first thing is the images in the background, right? So you don't want to use images of like $200,000 homes, because you're not targeting homeowners that own just $200,000 homes. You're targeting homeowners that own $1 million, $2 million, $3 million homes. So you need to use images and background of those homes, right? Because then it's going to tell Facebook, and it's also going to relate to your audience more that, you could take care of their problems, and that, the ad's just relating to your audience, right? So you want everything in your ad to relate to that audience. So that's number one. Number two is you want to talk to that ideal client, avatar. You don't want to be hitting on things like getting a good deal, cheap roofs, this and that. You want to be hitting more on the fact that you could do a good job, your reviews are great, the type, maybe like your material quality, things like that. You want to kind of hit on the fact on why you could do the best job, and most importantly, why you're going to make their home look super sexy, because that's what these type of people care about, right? They want their home to look super cool. They want that status of, having the best looking home in the neighborhood, and you want to show that in your ad. So a before and after of one of these wealthy homes, before it looks like shit, after it looks great, that's another angle that you could go at. So that's very good as well. And then you want to have that discount in there because you do need an offer. You do need to show them that they're going to get a good deal. But again, we're leading more with proof rather than promise in these ads, okay? So that's kind of what you want to do. Another thing is if you have an actor in your ad creative, you want it to look like them, right? So what does this mean? This means basically you don't want the actor to look, like they're less wealthy. You want them to play the part. They're a wealthy homeowner, right? So you want them to look like them, right? Like you want them to look wealthy, okay? Like plain and simple. They're wearing, a Ralph Lauren t-shirt, right? Like whatever it is, you want them to look wealthy. Now, none of this matters. Again, your offer, your creative, your copy, none of that matters if your targeting geographically is off, right? Like if I'm showing these rich people ads in a neighborhood that's like Compton or, like O Block, right? Nobody's going to convert, right? Like nobody's going to convert because nobody in that geographical location is going to relate to that audience, and nobody's going to convert. So I'm going to show you exactly how to geographically target in your ad settings in order to gear your ads towards that audience and put your ads in front of those eyeballs, okay? Now there's only two things here that we need to cover. The first thing is geographical targeting, like I said. So the very first thing is you want to use what's called a income zip code finder, right? So you could put in an area, right? And it's going to tell you the average income of each and every zip code. What you want to do is you want to find a good amount of zip codes that are right next to each other that have medium to high income neighborhoods, right? And zip codes, okay? And then you want to add that into your ad targeting. Sounds simple because it is, okay? So find those zip codes, enter them into your ad targeting, and now you have, hopefully, let's say around 300 to 500,000 population size in your ad targeting. Now that's a little low. So what I typically like to do is I would like to make multiple different ad sets with targeting kind of scattered throughout the state in different areas that are targeting those higher income people, okay? So that's the first thing you want to do. So that's the geographical part of it. To get more population size, something that you could do is you could find like, those couple zip codes next to each other that have high income. They have, medium to high income basically, right? And if your population size is quite low, put a radius on it up until you're getting like 500, 700,000 population. And this next thing that you could do is a detailed targeting. So something that Facebook actually allows you to do, and I think they added this like a couple years ago actually, is detailed targeting, where you could target the top 0 to 25% of income in those areas, right? So now Facebook is not only, we're not only targeting the right income locations where there's people that are likely to be rich in those areas geographically, but we're also making sure that everybody in that area that we're showing that ad is in the top 25% of income, because there's also in every area where, you know, the income's high, we're still going to get people in that area that have lower income that we don't want to let through, right? So that's another thing that we could do. There's actually a little bonus thing that we could do. I typically don't recommend, you know, doing this, but you can if you're noticing issues still, is on your form you could have an income disqualifier. So you could ask household income, and then basically DQ under a certain amount, right? And basically that's gonna tell Facebook to find people that are higher income, and you're just hard DQing, right? But this is going to shoot your costs up by quite a bit. And it's usually not the best method of doing things. I typically like to do these two first. But if that doesn't work, this could be a good last resort of making sure you're getting, you know, high quality people. So that's pretty much it with the video. Pretty short, but if you implement everything in this video, you're going to start to land these big high profit jobs that you want to land. We have other videos on our channel, you know, talking about different things like, you know, ad creatives and setting up an ad campaign and previous client results, you know, like client case studies, things like that. So check those out. If you want some more free sauce, subscribe, stay tuned. That's it.